takes about 6 weeks for the uterus to get back to its normal 2-ounce size. During pregnancy it weighed almost 2 pounds, just on its own without any of the fluid, placenta or baby. So you may still look 4 or 5 months pregnant immediately after having your baby. If you had your baby in hospital, the physiotherapist will show you some exercises that you can do as soon as you feel ready. Walking and pelvic floor exercises are also very helpful, but it's best to leave more strenuous exercise until after your 6-week postnatal check. But do remember, this will not be the body you're stuck with. It will change dramatically by itself in the first few weeks. After about 6 weeks, there are some very straightforward exercises that can be very valuable. It's useful to do them often, but be careful not to tire yourself out, and it is important not to do them if you're ill. There are particular exercises that are good to help get strength back in places like your pelvic floor muscles and your tummy area. It's important to remember to be careful of your posture. It's also important not to try and strengthen your abdominal muscles when you're lying flat on your back, nor to lie flat on your back and lift both legs in the air, because your muscles and ligaments are still weak.
One of the first things you can do is to look at your posture, particularly if you get backache. Have your feet hip-width apart, knees slightly soft, tuck in your tummy and tail, and lift up from the waist. Keep your shoulders down and your arms loose. And imagine that your neck is lengthening the back and that you've got this string pulling you on the crown of your neck. You need to do this often to protect your back. Pelvic floor exercises can be done now. Come into a sitting position. First of all, just imagine you're tightening around your back passage, and then round the front, like a lift is going up inside you. Make sure you keep breathing normally, that you don't hold your breath, and make sure you're not pulling your stomach muscles in at the same time. Just lift up underneath. Do this several times. Tighten and lift, a little bit, then a little bit more, and a little more. Hold it, and lower it down again in stages.
It's vital that before doing any exercise you warm up the joints and muscles and do gentle stretching. Stretching again after you finish is also important. This gradual warm up and cool down helps to avoid stiffness and injury. If you're in any doubt about whether you're ready to exercise, consult your GP at your 6-week checkup. Because the stomach muscles sometimes part when you've been pregnant, you should do a test before doing any exercise to check that they've closed up.
Begin by bending both knees up so that your feet are on the floor. With the fingers of one hand, palm facing you, feel quite firmly just below the tummy button. Put the other hand in front of you and lift your head and shoulders a little way off the floor. Make those muscles work gently. And just feel the size of the gap between your muscles there. A good abdominal exercise to start with is pelvic tilting. Put one hand behind your waist in the hollow of your back. Next, press your waist down and squash your hand against the floor. And you should feel your tummy muscles contracting as you do this. And then release. Repeat this 4 or 5 times. And then relax. Until your abdominal muscles have returned to normal, it is important that you perform only gentle abdominal exercises. And here are some exercises that will help them. Remember to start any exercise routine with a warm-up. Walk on the spot, keeping tall. Pick your feet up off the floor and lift your knees. Then put your feet apart and lift up your right shoulder a few times. Then change sides. Then roll them both together forwards and then backwards. Take the weight on your left leg and flex the other from heel to toe. and then change legs. Then start to flex your arms. At the same time, keep your legs going. Feet apart at 10 to 2. Then move your hips from side to side. Add your arms, just spread them forwards and to the side, one at a time. Then stretch them up. Feet at 10 to 2 and go into a squat. Knees over your feet. Add your arms too. Think about posture, really stretch out. And go back to walking on the spot. Now for some stretching. Have your feet hip width apart. Take one leg a footstep backwards. Make sure your toes are pointing forwards, back heel on the ground, and place your hands on your leading thigh. Gently feel the stretch in your leg muscles. Now bring the back foot forward again and sit down on it, keeping the knees soft. Straighten the knee of the front leg. Lean over slightly with your hand resting on your thigh. Feel the stretch in the back of the thigh of the straight leg. Take your other leg back and again feel the stretch in your calf muscles. Bring your back foot forward and just sit down on it. And on that back thigh, keep your front knee straight and just bend over it and feel the stretch at the back of your thigh and relax. And gently walk it out. Once you've finished this warm-up, try some leg sliding for those abdominal muscles. Lie with your back flat against the floor, put your hands on your thighs, and slide your hands up towards your knees and back again. Just stretch out towards your knees and look at them, sliding your hands up as you do, and then down again. Breathe out as you slide up, and breathe in as you slide down again. If the abdominal muscles start to bulge, it means they're weak, and this is an exercise to help support them. Lie on your back, put your knees up. Put one hand across you and the other hand across the other way, and hold your waist, and you effectively pull those muscles together. Now lift your head and shoulders straight up, look at your knees, and then down again. As you lift your head and shoulders off the floor, make sure you keep your abdominal muscles flat. Repeat this 8 times. Remember, never overdo any exercise, especially after the birth of a baby. If the width between the straight muscles is 2 fingers or less, then you can start doing curling exercises. The easiest exercise to do is to put your waist to the ground. As you curl up, put both hands to one side, and then change to the other side, and back again. As your muscles get stronger, and only when they are stronger, you can progress from the straight curl-up exercise. Put your hands across your chest, one hand on one shoulder and one hand on the other. Press your waist to the ground. Come up, breathe out as you come up, look between your knees, and breathe in as you go down again. When you can do that exercise quite easily, you can progress to the next exercise. Put your hands behind your ears, not behind your head as you might pull it forward. And again, press your waist to the ground. Lift your head and shoulders and look between your knees. And down again. And one more time, come up and down. When you can do that quite easily, a further progression follows. Take your right ankle and put it on your left knee. Put your hands by your ears and keep your back on the floor. You're going to pivot and take your left elbow over to your right knee. And down again. Up and down again. And up and down again. Now change legs, and this time bring your right elbow across to your left knee. Up and down again. Up and down. Breathe out as you come up and in as you come down again. And relax. What we have shown you here are the ways to progress these exercises. As you get stronger and can do between 8 to 12 repetitions of one level comfortably, then you could try moving on to the harder exercises. In between the straight curl exercises and the diagonals, you can do some more pelvic floor exercises to avoid tiring the abdominal muscles. Remember to cool down at the end of your exercise routine. In the cool down, it's important to stretch out all the muscles previously used in the exercises. This is a sample of a few ways to do this. Just bend your right knee onto your chest, stretch it out, hold it above and below the knee, and pull it towards you. Straighten the leg, pull it down towards you until you can feel the stretch at the back of your thigh and in your hamstring. Now, take that ankle over to the opposite knee and then take that foot up off the floor, bring that knee up towards you and hold either side of the thigh. Pull it towards you and you should feel the stretch in your right buttock muscle. Then change your legs and do the same on the other side. Now sit up, put the soles of your feet together, get comfortable. Then put your elbows on your knees and rock to and fro to feel the stretch, and sit up. Just cross your legs now. Put your right hand on the floor beside you and stretch your left hand up to the ceiling. And just bend over sideways and feel the stretch along your arm and your body. Back to the middle, put your left hand down, stretch up to the ceiling, and just bend over and back again. Clasp your wrists and stretch your arms forward, feeling the tension go in the back of your neck and back. And then put your hands behind you and pushing your chest forward, feel the stretch across the front. One hand behind your neck, just press your elbow back and change arms. Feel the stretch in your shoulder and arm. After about 6 weeks, you'll probably be ready to start exercising seriously. Aerobic exercise is aimed at improving fitness in your heart and lungs. Any exercises that involve many muscles in the body, especially the large leg and arm muscles, are good for your heart. Brisk walking and swimming are particularly good.
In some areas, the NCT hold classes that cover postnatal exercise, where you can exercise regularly with other mothers. These classes can also be a chance to discuss and share ways of looking after your baby, what's happening to you and your family, and any worries that might come up.
Because it's the middle of the night and you can't quite enjoy those sort of magic movements. That was quite hard.
I've never met a mother who didn't find the early days pretty stressful from time to time. And I think everybody needs to think for themselves, what are the ways that they can cope with the days that are just too much. And sometimes it's important that husbands or partners shouldn't be too blithe about time out for the mother. You know, you need a break, darling. Come on, we'll get a babysitter and go to the movies. Might be absolutely fine for one mother and absolutely hopeless for another. Because for some women, in the first weeks after a baby's born, the very last way you can relax is by physically separating yourself from the baby. So I think really women, newly delivered women, have to think for themselves and then ask.
The first month of a baby's life can be the most fast-moving and exciting you can imagine. You'll be using up a lot of energy, both physically and emotionally, as you adapt to your new way of life. You'll also be getting less sleep, so it can be a good idea to take stock of how you're doing. If you're finding that there are more lows than highs in your day, it can help to know some of the ways of dealing with stress. You're under stress when there are more demands being made of you than you feel able to cope with. If this goes on too long, your health can suffer. If you start to suffer from headaches, disturbed sleep, irrational anger, or even irritation, it'll help you to know that these are all normal under stress, and you can do something about it. You can learn to say no. If you're aware of your own limitations, then you'll start to be in control again. Remember the relaxation you learned in antenatal classes? This can be invaluable here. 10 minutes can do wonders. Even 5 minutes will help. Although it doesn't happen to a vast number of new mothers, postnatal depression is a possibility within the first year of having your baby. The term is used to refer to a wide spectrum of feelings and experience. You may feel tired and listless and lose confidence in yourself as a mother. It might seem as though everybody else is doing better. Feelings like this are relatively normal. It is usual to have good and bad days, but postnatal depression is a more insistent feeling. This kind of depression may start with feelings of disappointment. Maybe your birth experience did not match up to your expectations, or you had to have an unplanned caesarean section. Sometimes it's just the demands both of your baby and your family. It can be too much. There may also be a sense of loss of the old life that you led. You are now not at work, and you may be missing your job as well as having your own income. Your relationship has changed. New mothers often feel that all the attention which was focused on them during the pregnancy is suddenly transferred to the new baby, just at the time when they could most do with it themselves. If your partner can provide loving support and listen rather than judge, this can help a lot. Sometimes all that's needed is just some genuine offers of help to spread the load and to help you get some of that vital rest and relaxation. Of course, it helps if your partner and others take notice of you as a person in your own right, rather than just a necessary appendage to your baby. Sometimes the depression can be deeper, and the responsibility of looking after your baby can seem too much. Some women feel reluctant to talk to their GP, but this can be a real source of help and support.
Particularly perhaps in the months after childbirth. I think it is a very real responsibility of the other people who are close to a mother and baby to keep an eye out for real depression, because should it happen, it's much more likely to be her partner or her mother or her best friend who will see it than her herself. It's for other people to seek help on her behalf in the first place.